Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the CDI Experience, the CDI retrospective podcast where we talk about all things education, random flowers, infomercials, Christianity, and of course, some weird Nintendo games. I am Bill, and this is Threk. How you doing, Threk?
Oh, Bill, I'm doing all right as well as I can. It's a warm day out here, but we're doing our thing. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It was like 80 today, which is
Oh yeah,
which
I
is
got the window open right now, but there's
nice.
no breeze and it fucking sucks.
I'm in my basement, so it's just kind of chilly down here, but
I love chili.
Yeah.
See, every time it gets warm, I go, see, this is why I like when it's cold outside, because when it gets hot or warm, I'm just uncomfortable. But I deal with it.
See, I can put up with the warmth. The cold is just, I don't know, makes me not want to do anything.
That's my favorite. Just stay inside under a blanket and a hoodie. I'm good, man. I got nothing to complain about.
It's kind of funny. Matt brought this up on the last episode of Geek Addicts I recorded, but like, you're getting old when you start every fucking podcast talking about the goddamn weather.
I mean, it is the icebreaker, right? No pun intended. Yeah. Talking about it's just something you can talk about with everybody. It's relevant. Everybody experiences it. It's just something. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, outside of that, I could talk about. We could talk about like random games we've been playing, but like, who gives a shit about that, right? I mean, unless you really want my opinion on like Dead Space 2, which I started up and is really fucking good. But we're not gonna get into that because today, we're finally getting to this one. Because we've been doing this show for a while. It's about time we tackle one of the big games for the CDI, and that is of course Hotel Mario. But before we get to that, we need to talk about our news. And quite a bit of news happened, not in terms of quantity, but like quality, there was quite a bit. The first thing I have is the PS5 going up in price yet again. Oh boy.
You know what was the worst part about that? Looking at those price increases, I just went, yep. And I was like, why is the Portal $100 more? I was just like, why is that one? That one baffled me. I was like,
yeah. I mean, is there RAM in the Portal? Maybe.
Well, yeah, because
I don't know. I don't know what's in that thing as far as like the hardware goes.
So there is a misconception. A lot of people do think it's just a kind of like a casting device. You can actually stream stuff from the cloud on it. Like if you have PlayStation Plus, the premium, which the price is going up, I'm not getting anytime soon. But you can stream that, or you can stream like say digital games. Like I have a Teardown on my PS5. I can stream that directly from the cloud rather than casting it from my PS5, which is nice.
Which is better?
Oh, the streaming from the cloud seems to work a lot better. The casting is fine until like say I have my PS5 running upstairs, and then I tried to play it down here. Yeah, because it's like 3 levels. The casting's kind of a
The Portal just turns the PS5 into a Wii U, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. The screen's beautiful. So
yeah, but. And I've been able to like cloud stream on my like ROG Ally, my Xbox stuff, and it's not terrible, but I haven't taken it like a super far distance to test the cloud streaming. I mean, in that case, I think I'd be better off playing games locally on it, which you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the price increases for the PS5, if you haven't heard yet, effective starting April 2nd, is in the US, the PS5 is now $650. Up from $550. The digital edition is $600, up from $500. And the PS Pro is now $900, up from $700. So depending on what state you live in with sales tax, that's over $1,000. We have now entered $1,000 gaming consoles territory. And I get the sense that the eventual PS6 and Project Helix are going to be similar prices. It's like the Pandora's box has been opened now. And then something like in Europe and everything, like the price increases like in Europe are the exact same as America, but since the euro has higher value than the dollar, it's way more expensive there. You know, like a PS5 Pro being 900 euros is a lot more expensive than $900. So
no, I have yet to meet a single person or see one in person a PS5 Pro.
Yeah, like there might be people like who listen to the show have a Pro. I don't know. Honestly, if you have a PS5 Pro, let me know because I'm curious.
I just want to know if it even like does anything because from what I've heard, it's not really that much of an upgrade.
Like I remember watching the video where Mark Cerny was like trying to convince everybody this thing is worth it, and when you're having to zoom into like background crowds and like Ratchet and Clank and be like, look how smoother it is, and it's like, oh, who fucking cares at that point? Like, if you care that much about that stuff, you're a PC gamer. You buy the PC shit. You know, like you don't buy a console for that. So, and even then, it's like, yeah, from what I've seen, like the Pro can make some games run a little bit better, but I feel like any game that runs better on the Pro, if it was just optimized better by the developer, it would run just fine on the base. You know what I mean? Like we're not tapping out the potential of these consoles. It's just developers are not optimizing their games for the consoles. You know, I mean, granted, they have like, you know, all these different consoles and all these different PC specs to make games for. So that might be why optimization isn't what it used to be. But still, it's just like it's rough out here. And then the price increase, if they gave an excuse, it was probably just like, oh, you know, RAM and everything, blah, 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 or whatever, right? Like the normal bullshit. And it's just bad. You know, like prices are bad. And, you know, of course, people online have their own theories and trying to, you know, fanboys trying to justify another, but most people are like, this is bullshit as it should be. It's bullshit. This is like it doesn't matter who it is.
Like, aside from like the hardcore Sony and hardcore Microsoft people, the majority of people have said like, it's just bad on all fronts.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've seen there was this one like Sony guy who's trying to blame PC gamers for this and being like, Sony put all this money into PC gaming and they're pulling out because people didn't buy it. So now they're increasing the price of their hardware. Like, it didn't make any fucking sense to me. It was kind of, yeah, I'm not going to say their name because they have a habit of like copyright claiming. So I'm not going to say who it is just in case. But yeah, like the mental gymnastics they did, they'd get a gold medal in the mental gymnastics Olympics. Like, dude, you can say your favorite corporation did something bad, okay? It's okay. It's okay, you know? Like I'm as you guys know, I'm an Xbox guy, but I have no problem when they do something that's fucking stupid. Like when they raise the prices of their consoles. I said that was stupid too. So we are where we are.
I'm just sitting here waiting because I'm like
that means Switch 2's going to go up any day now.
Oh yeah. See, I'm waiting in that thing because I'm like, Sony just did something stupid, so Microsoft's got to like jump from the top rope and be like, not so fast.
Well, that's the thing. This was announced quite a few days ago, and they haven't said anything. So maybe we're fine.
Either that or it's gonna be the most gargantuan fucking thing ever.
Oh God! Though I'm hearing they're toying with like a new tier of Game Pass where it's just the first party Microsoft games for a cheaper price. Like that's all it is. We'll see if it pops up. We'll see, because I wouldn't be against that personally, but
that'd be good for like the people who don't really care and they just want to play the Microsoft games.
Yeah, because why not, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see if that's a real thing. Anyways, we'll talk about Nintendo next, because you know we got that movie coming out and. You know, reception's been great. Go read some reviews if you're all curious. Some of them are actually funny. But apparently around the same time, a prominent Nintendo insider, as they like to call him, Nate the Hate, has said that reportedly this year we're getting a new Star Fox game, which coincides with Fox McCloud being in the new Mario movie. Says it'll be like a classic style game, so it'll play like Star Fox 64, I assume. It'll probably just be another remake of 60. It'll probably just be
before.
It'll probably just be another version of Star Fox 64, which is just a remake of Star Fox on the Super Nintendo. And then Star Fox Zero was that. So we've gotten the same game 3 times, but you know, who cares? Who fucking cares, right?
4, they remade it for 3DS too.
Oh, I forgot. Shit. Yeah, but you're right. So I mean, we'll see. I'm down for a new Star Fox. If it's just like, you know, a new Star Fox that plays like it should, and it's just nice and pretty, Fine, why not?
Straight up.
I'm not going to pay $70 or $80 for it though.
No,
legit, no. But that's what it's going to be.
Do Assault, but just keep him in the R-Wing, and we'll be fine. The fucking.
I mean, I liked Assault, but I liked Assault.
I like it too, but like.
They're not going to do Assault again, though. No. Sorry, Cthusiast Jeff. They're not going to do that again. But that's because I think Namco made it. They didn't make it.
Yeah, that was made by like the Ace Combat team, from what I've heard.
Yeah, so
some people from the Ace Combat team.
That doesn't surprise me.
Which is why the on-foot sections are weird. Like not bad, but weird.
Yeah, weird is a good way to put it. Yeah. But yeah, that's supposedly coming this year because I guess we're going to get our next major direct in June, which I'm fine with that. But the other, well, there were two things. One was here, but there was one tangentially where apparently somebody like compounded on this and saying, "Oh, Mercury Steam's actually doing a Super Metroid remake," and like apparently it's going to be like a pixel art, like 2D, like it's not going to be like Dread. It's going to look more like a 2D pixel arty thing, which would be appropriate for Super Metroid. But at the same time, that game doesn't really need a remake. It really doesn't. Like I'm fine with remakes, but that one feels unnecessary to me. Like that game is still good by today's standards. Like the only thing Nintendo would have to do to modernize it, just make a widescreen, and then you're fine.
Yeah,
and the game's fine. So I don't know.
I'd rather just get a new 2D Metroid game. Give us a sequel to Dread. I like Dread.
Well, according to that, they're working on that and like the sequel to Dread. So they're working on like both at the same time. Like, yeah, we'll get Metroid 6. Why not? But the other one, the big one that apparently people are saying it's true because Nintendo is kind of mad that this came out, apparently, is for the holiday this year, the big Nintendo game for the holiday is a Switch 2 remake of Ocarina of Time. Now, this isn't the first remake of Ocarina. We had that 3DS one, right? And it lines up because I believe this year is Zelda's 40th anniversary. So, and they haven't said or really talked about it at all, I don't think. Like, really, it feels like this year is like kind of leading with like the Mario anniversary, which was last year, right? So, but it is what it is. How do you feel about an Ocarina of Time remake for Switch 2?
I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Ocarina of Time, but I get that it's important to a lot of people. I don't see anything wrong with that. Like if they released it, it would probably sell fucking billions because it's like,
oh yeah, of course.
It's one of the most overrated games of all time. I mean,
it's probably the most overrated game of all time.
It's either that or Final Fantasy VII, one of those two. Like,
yeah, those two are strong contenders. And again, it's not like either game is bad. It's just like
no, they're both great games. I didn't grow up with Ocarina, so I don't see the appeal.
Every time I've tried to play to Ocarina since I was a kid, because when I got my GameCube, I had the Zelda Collector's Edition, which had Zelda's 1, 2, Ocarina, and Majora on them. And Ocarina, like even as a kid, it didn't grab me, man. It just on GameCube, like it just something about it just was weird, and I didn't like it.
I feel like it's one of those games where you had to have been there because, like, going back to it nowadays, I'm like, this is just boring. It's not like
like at
Wind
least
Waker has a charm to it that still holds up.
Well, even not even that. If you're comparing, say, like Mario 64, like I'm not the biggest fan of that game either, but going back to play it, it's like, okay, I understand. Like
there's like a familiar feeling behind Mario 64. Like you can just pick that game up.
That game is like setting a foundation that like so many other games copped from. I mean, you could argue Ocarina of Time kind of does that, but really a lot of the stuff Ocarina does was done in Link to the Past. You know?
It really just brought it to 3D, which
whereas like taking Mario and making him 3D completely revamped how Mario worked. But really Zelda in 2D and 3D operates very much the same. There really isn't that big of a difference, you know?
Yeah, just a lot of Z
unless
targeting.
You really like Z targeting, yeah. And Z targeting was improved with later games anyway. So, I mean, I'm fine with it. Again, if it's not like $70 or $80, I'll probably give it a try because I've always wanted to beat Ocarina just to see what the big deal is, but I can never get past like the second dungeon without just being bored out of my mind.
If I do, I'll probably play the 3DS version. Like at this
I
point,
have the 3DS version and it didn't help. So I don't know.
It looks slightly prettier. That's really about
it. Though I'm curious if this remake would be in like the Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom engine, or would they give it like a new art style? Like that, I'll be curious to like what the game's going to look like.
I'm sure it'll be in the engine. I'm not sure if the graphics will be the same though.
Yeah, but we'll see. But we'll see as this goes. Like when we get the direct in a couple months, and then also Nate at the end threw that the 3D Mario game was gonna be this year, but it's getting moved to next year. The one game I fucking want for the Switch 2, and
it's literally the new Mario game and the new Fire Emblem are like my two big like.
Yeah,
those are really what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how true this stuff is. Nate the Hate, I mean, he doesn't have the best track record. I mean, we chatted in Discord about this, where like he has gotten things right. I'm not saying he's not credible, but there have been numerous instances where he's gotten something wrong, and then people tried to say like you got this wrong, or you gave incorrect information, and then he's like, well, it wasn't me, it was plans change, pal. And it's like, well, yeah, that's true, but like when you are a leaker giving information out into the public, you are taking ownership of that, because you're the one deciding to put that out into the ether, right? So, it's one thing if it's like, oh, it's like this game is real and it's coming out this year and it gets moved to like 6 to 12 months. Like, yeah, that happens, right? But like the big one for me is he had said, I think a couple years ago, that there was a remake of Fire Emblem Genealogy of the Holy War, the Super Nintendo Fire Emblem game. And that it was done and Nintendo's been sitting on it waiting for the time to release it. And that was years ago. Nothing. Like we've gotten multiple Fire Emblem games since then, even the announcement of Fortune's Weave. That's when I'm like, were you just wrong on that? Like, because I don't think Nintendo would sit on a remake of that game and then just cancel it because like they probably put it out there. Like that's the one where I'm like, dude, like either you were given bad information, like you lied, or there was like a misunderstanding or something. You know what I mean?
My thought on Genealogy was always like, that's such a random one to choose from. Like out of all the ones that can get remakes, like
probably because it's like the Super Nintendo one. It still has Marth in it.
Does Genealogy have Marth?
Yeah,
I thought Marth was New Mystery of the Emblem.
No, he's in Genealogy as well.
Is he? That's the one I have not played. I played
I'm told it's one of the better games in the series.
I played the third one a lot.
Yeah, because then I think the sequel to that one was the Thrika 776.
Yeah,
that's the Roy one. That's the only one with Roy in it.
No, that Roy's the first GBA game. Thrika is like this weird.
Is it? I thought Roy was in that one.
No, that one's just kind of its own thing. The Fire Emblem series is bizarre.
Oh yeah, he's in Binding Blade. Yeah,
the one we didn't get.
Yeah, but we got him in Smash, I guess. But that was the whole thing. Like, it is what it is, right? Like, I'm not necessarily like living and dying on the words of leakers. It's just, I go on r/gaming leaks a lot just because I'm curious to what people are saying over there. So, we'll see how true this is or not. And we'll just kind of go from there, I guess.
Yeah.
So moving from one showcase to another, Xbox had that partner preview, and overall, I liked it, but I didn't have like crazy high expectations. It was just like, let's just see what's showing up. I saw a lot of people get mad because like r/gaming leaks, like right before this partner thing came out, they saw that like Sega had trademarked Persona, like filed a trademark for a Persona thing right before, and everyone was like, oh, we're gonna see Persona 4 Revival, or some people were saying Persona 6, and we didn't see any Persona in this at all. So some people were getting mad at that, and it's like, guys, it's like they didn't put on a bad show because you set an expectation that wasn't there to begin with.
Also, companies file trademarks all the time. Like that's never a good like.
Exactly. Like I did hear that Persona 6 could debut in the next major Xbox show, like the June showcase, which I'll talk about in a second. I mean, it's Sega and Atlas have been real cozy with Microsoft the last couple of years. Like that's where Persona 4 Revival first showed up. Metaphor, they've done it. There is the precedent there. So maybe, but we'll see. But anyways, outside of that bullshit, I thought the partner preview was fine. Like that Hunter the Reckoning thing is real. So that was cool to see. Game looks neat. The new Expanse game, it just looks like Mass Effect. And I'm fucking down. If it's just Mass Effect, I'll take it.
Yeah. I don't think we're getting a new Mass Effect ever at this point.
I like to believe BioWare's still working on that Mass Effect 4. But, is what
Fingers
it is.
Crossed.
Yeah. Serious Sam's getting a new game called Shatterverse, where I guess there's a bunch of different verse Serious Sams. I really need to dive deep into that series. I've like barely played it over the years. They look like fun games though. Stranger Than Heaven got a nice long trailer where I guess it's like in 5 different eras and everything. And I think in May or something they're doing a deeper dive into it. I would have liked the deeper dive here, but hey, game looks pretty neat, and I'm just hoping that's what RGG is putting all of their effort into with some of the issues some of their other games released recently have had. So hopefully it's because they're really putting their focus into this game. Like it doesn't look silly in a way that the Yakuza games are. It might be taking itself a little more seriously, but we'll see. The release date for Super Meat Boy 3D was there, which was the 31st. And of course, I'm playing it. If you're video watching, you can see because it's on Game Pass, and it's fun. It's Super Meat Boy in 3D. So if you expected more, then that's your problem. Trying to see what else. Dispatch is coming to Xbox, which I'm very excited for because people were really praising the heck out of that game. So to see it come in here is cool. I will be giving that a check out. Trying to see what else there was here. A big Stalker 2 expansion. A game called Musa Dirty Fate, which looks kind of interesting. All right, the demo for The Eternal Life of Goldman dropped. I played through that a bit. I didn't play through the whole demo because I'm already sold on the game. It's a 2D platformer that has like the smoothest 2D animation I've ever seen. Like the game looks gorgeous. And it's kind of open-ended. I wouldn't call it like a search action thing, but it's a little open-ended. But the gameplay is DuckTales.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where you use your cane to like bounce on stuff and all that. And there's some really interesting like puzzle platforming challenges in there. You can customize the cane where you can get like different handles and bodies and everything. It's supposedly coming out later this year. I'm very excited for it. I think it looks really cool. And y'all should download the demo because I feel like Goldman is I feel like we're starting to get that now where like Cuphead inspired a lot of people to make games of that quality 2D animation, like hand drawing everything. And we're starting to see that with like Mouse PI for Hire and Eternal Life of Goldman. We're starting to see those. And I love that like art style, that style of animation. So more of that is fine with me. And that was really it. There was a couple other things I was slightly interested in, but nothing too crazy. It was a short little thing, and it was fine. Perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with it at all. So if people have issues with it, I feel like that's your problem.
I think the biggest thing we've seen lately is it's like, those are some cool games, but no one has enough money to buy all of those right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But the last thing was I talked about the June showcase. Xbox confirmed their June showcase. It is on Sunday, June 7th, followed immediately with the Gears of War E-Day Direct. So that basically confirms E-Day is, Emergence Day.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the prelude to one. And they confirmed that it's happening. I'm very excited for Gears of War E-Day. It looks fucking sick. I still think it's weird that after Gears 5 had such a cliffhanger that they're like, okay, now we're going to go back and do a prequel to 1 now. It's like I want the conclusion with Gears 6, but that'll happen later.
Like,
hopefully before I'm dead.
That's like the goddamn Metroid cliffhanger that we had for like decades.
I don't think it'll be decades, but it's just like, God damn it, guys. But Gear 6 will happen, I'm sure. Yeah, outside of that, I think they even said they're doing they're actually doing an in-person showcase this year. Oh, wow. Like they're bringing it back to LA to do here, let me find it. What they said they were doing. Yeah, they're going to be coming back like in person, I guess, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Why not? So we'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a bunch of games I want to see more stuff on, like, hopefully we get like the release date for Fable. Yeah, that would be nice. We'll probably see more about like Minecraft Dungeons 2, which got announced, the Halo campaign Evolved remake, maybe some more stuff on Clockwork Evolution, State of Decay 3, OD, the Kojima thing, maybe Spyro 4, because Toys for Bob's working on something, and it's been a while. Who knows?
Don't get the Spyro fans' hopes up.
Well, I'm a Spyro fan, but because Toys for Bob has kind of hinted that, like, when they broke off to be their own company, they're like, oh, but we're gonna directly work with a Microsoft IP for the next game, and they're kind of hinting at it being Spyro 4. They're hinting at it, so they're probably like, they want to say it, but they probably can't, because like Crash 5 doesn't make any sense, at least not yet.
No.
So I think Spyro 4 would be the better one. So I hope it's real and true. I have no idea, but we'll see. But yeah, you all know I'll watch this and I'll let you know what I think afterwards.
Nice.
And that is the news.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Nintendo music, but it this week was kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, our boy Steve called it out because he knows he's locked in. He knows his shit.
You get the new Mario Wonder stuff.
Yeah, the Wonder. Hold on, let me say the whole title: Super Mario Brothers Wonder Dash Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup in Bella Bell Park.
Sure.
I still haven't beaten the base game. It bores the shit out of me.
I just don't like 2D Mario. I think that's just it.
I mean, I like 2D Mario. It's just
I like old 2D Mario.
I play it and it just doesn't do anything for me. So
like the only new Super Mario Bros. Game that I like is the first one, and that's because it felt new at the time.
Yeah. So, oh well.
We also got some more Animal Crossing New Horizons tracks because they're still adding tracks from that soundtrack. Apparently,
are they really?
Yeah. So that's cool, I guess. If you like it. I mean, I like New Horizons, so that's something, I guess.
I mean, sure, but like, just dump the whole thing. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know why they're piecing it out. That entire app is so annoying.
Like, that game is 6 years old. It's Animal Crossing. What spoilers are you worried about?
Yeah,
there's no spoilers.
I didn't even realize they didn't have all the tracks. I thought that was everything, but
there was one game. It might have been Forgotten Land didn't have all of them because of spoilers, but they eventually added them in anyway.
Yeah, who's getting spoiled by music tracks?
Like, if you have the NSO Music app, you've already played these games.
Like, I'm just trying to think, like, how do you get spoiled by a music track? Like,
I don't know. Nintendo's weird, man. They do a lot of weird things, like letting Philips CDI make multiple games for their Philips CDI experience. And today we were talking about that with the game Hotel Mario. What a fucking game. Released
probably the most iconic game for the system, maybe the best on it.
It's up there. The CDI Zeldas are pretty iconic as well, but like not for good reasons. But yeah, Hotel Mario was released in July of 1994 for the Philips CDI, a game developed by a company called Fantasy Factory, who, it's a good sign when they do not have a Wikipedia page.
Fun fact, years ago when I was first looking into like the CDI and like these games, that used to say Philips Interactive. So more info's probably come out over the years, but for a long time, a lot of people probably didn't even know that company existed.
But what's crazy is when you pop that game up, it just has the screen Fantasy Factory like staring you. What did those people think that was? Like that's not the engine the game's running on. Like, what are we doing here? But anyways, but yeah, like their Moby Games just has this game. So
yeah, and it's
one and doneers, right?
So the story goes, from what the research I've done, for those who don't know, obviously there is a bit of a misconception. Some people claim the CDI came out of the infamous Nintendo CD, the Super Nintendo CD deal. So a little history lesson. So it's a bit more complex than that. So everyone knows the whole story of the Super Nintendo CD. Originally, Nintendo went to Sony to make the CD add-on for the Super Nintendo to compete with the TurboGrafx Sega CD. Ended up being a huge kerfuffle. Sony was being sneaky
Nintendo
bastards.
Doesn't care about graphics and cutting edge technology. They say bullshit.
They did at this point. They did at this point, and this whole situation soured them so hard. They were anti-CD for so long. But
so wasn't the issue with this was like they wanted to work with Sony because Sony was one of the leading developers on the CD technology.
Yes.
And they were like, oh, they can. We can work together. And they thought Sony would be kind of docile and let Nintendo kind of just run the show. But then, but Sony was like, oh no, we're going to do this. Like they were very like, this is what we're going to do. Was Ken Kutaragi on this project?
Because Ken Kutaragi was in charge of it. Ken Kutaragi was basically the guy who kept trying to get Sony into the video game market the entire time.
Yeah.
And the president of Sony was like, no, we're not a toy company. But I believe the relationship started because Sony famously made the sound card for the Super Nintendo.
Yes.
And that's kind of where that began. So obviously they had a relationship at that point.
And they had set up their like that video game division, like Sony Interactive Media.
Sony ImageSoft.
Yeah. So they were already doing stuff. But I think they saw this. Well, I think this is probably like revisionist history. Or people were like, oh, Sony saw this as a way to get into like the console business. I don't even know if that's necessarily true. I think they just saw this opportunity to work with Nintendo and we're like, yeah. Let's do it. But
see
they're like, we're going to do it on our terms. This is what we want to do.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's like, no, we want you to do this. And it was just like two bulls,
Yes. And the big
Yamauchi and Ken Kutaragi, obviously, they didn't get along.
No. And the big breakthrough of this entire situation was basically Sony did some sneaky shit in the background. And to be fair to them, the contract was right there. Nintendo could have read it. They just didn't because they didn't think about this. Basically, what Sony did
ignorant ass companies.
Pretty much. Basically, what Nintendo discovered was Sony was going to get full publishing rights to all the CD games for the system. Nintendo was going to get basically nothing.
Like they were going to get royalties on like the hardware, right?
Yes, the hardware, and then of course still cartridge sales because they were making.
This reminds me of another console where it was like one company would get the like the 3DO where they would get the royalties for like the hardware, but like not the software.
Yeah, it was a.
I don't think that works.
No, it was a good idea on paper, but didn't really work in practice.
Yeah.
But essentially what happened was Nintendo decided, basically when Nintendo discovered this, rather than doing like a sensible thing and like, calling renegotiating, they decide to do the equally sneaky and then make a separate deal with Philips behind Sony's back.
Philips was also another company responsible for the CD-ROM, the CD technology. I believe it was the two of them working together.
Yes. And what's funny is this is the bit of the misconception. A lot of people think the CDI came out of this whole agreement. The CDI was already something Philips was making. It just was it was a weird thing floating in the background because we'll get into it a little bit more, but the CDI really wasn't a video game platform in the truest sense. It was kind of it was like a glorified DVD player that could play video games when you really think about it.
But it's interesting how like Nintendo saw Sony being a sneaky boy, like usual, and they said, "Screw you back. We're going to be a sneaky boy, like they've done in the past too." So it's so funny just seeing like these two. When you kind of look at their histories, they're both. I wouldn't call them villains, but they've done villain shit. I mean, they're corporations at the end of the day, right?
Oh yeah.
And both of them are like surprised that the evil corporations doing evil things, crazy, and they're both like pointing at each other, and it's like, are you shocked? Like, it's just how this stuff works. And then Phillips is just like, I'm Phillips. Hi, how you doing?
Phillips is like, Phillips probably wasn't even aware of the Sony deal.
No, because wasn't the story like when Nintendo announced the CD add-on to people?
Sony had
it was with Phillips, and so then like Sony. That's when Sony found out.
Well, no, it's even worse. It was at the Tokyo Game Show. Sony had gone first and announced the project to the entire show.
That's right, yeah.
And then Nintendo comes up and basically goes, "Don't listen to them. We're working with Phillips."
They're full of shit.
And Sony got embarrassed. And basically, as the story, at least from what G4 Icons told me, apparently after that,
how true that is.
That show was fairly. That was like the documentary show, so that one I trust a bit more because they had the actual people on it.
But okay, that helps.
From the story, apparently right after that event, that's when Ken Kutaragi went back to the president of Sony and basically said, "We're not going to let them win. We're going to do it our own way." And that was basically the birth of the PlayStation.
Because it was originally called the Nintendo PlayStation.
Famously with a space in between play and station.
Yes.
Because Nintendo technically owned the trademark to Play Space Station.
Yeah.
And by getting rid of the space that somehow made trademarks go away.
I mean that's how like shit works on like computers and stuff. Like certain things you can have space and certain things you can't. So.
Yeah.
But and for a long time people thought like the Nintendo PlayStation wasn't a real thing, that it was like a fake. But I think in the last couple of years people have found like prototypes.
John Hancock had one and he was trying to get it working. I know that.
Yeah. But like they're real and we've seen them, and it's so like this thing looks like if one of those was discovered now, everyone would just say it's AI.
Yeah, it's like how there was that, and then there was the another failed Nintendo disk system. There was actually a North American 64DD like prototype that does exist.
It does, yeah.
But going back to that,
so Nintendo tried to do the CD add-on with Phillips, and that didn't really work out either. Honestly, I think it was just Nintendo wasn't that invested in it.
Well,
really,
what happened was obviously the PlayStation was not a thing yet by this point. So Nintendo didn't realize what the beast that they had created.
Yeah,
in the background
the person who like their biggest competitor.
They didn't realize they literally created the company that was going to steamroll the gaming industry for the next like decade.
Ever till now, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like how many people these days view gaming as PlayStation?
Yeah,
probably a lot of people.
Like they didn't expect especially the PS1, PS2 eras, how much of a curb stomp those were going to be.
And to be fair, at the time, I think even consumers were not convinced.
No, they weren't.
When the debacle happened, and then everyone's like, "Oh, Sony's just going to go off and do their own thing." A lot of people were like, because they'd seen it with other companies trying it, and it just didn't work out. And they're like, Sony, they're just like an electronics company. They're going to fuck it up. But then word got around like, oh no, they're taking this like really seriously. And I think having that experience with Nintendo, being a third-party publisher and even a developer for games for Genesis and Super Nintendo, gave them perspective and saw how to do things the right way. And I think that's what allowed them to propel the way they did, because they didn't go in completely blind. Like a lot of these other companies
they saw companies like the 3DO and they were like, no, they had a lot of good ideas, but we're
going even Phillips with the CDI, because I think the only reason the CDI came to be was because Phillips had this experience with Nintendo, and they're like, oh, maybe now we can like try this thing.
I believe the CDI was in production before the deal happened. But I think it wasn't supposed to be a game system. I think it was supposed to be a multimedia thing.
An entertainment platform, as they'd like to say.
Yes. Now
it came out in, when did it come out?
It came out a lot earlier than people think. It actually came out in. It was discontinued in '99. When did it come out?
1991.
Yeah. This thing is surprisingly old.
Which is very old.
Which leads me to believe it was kind of floating around, like the original models were floating around before, like
those giant VCR models. Yeah.
Yeah. But going back to why the Philips and Nintendo CD add-on never came to be, I think a lot of it was they looked at the competition. They saw the Sega CD, the Jaguar CD, if you want to count that, the
TurboGrafx 6 CD,
the
seeing
Amiga
them all
CD.
like
just
Seeing
kind
them
of
all
flop.
completely flopping and being like, we don't need to do this.
I think they realized they were making just as much. I mean, they had games like Donkey Kong Country came out, and that was a huge sales boon towards the end of the system's life.
Well, because they had developers like Rare who were like, you don't need a CD add-on. We can take advantage of the hardware we have. And this is what we were able to make with it. Like, there's an alternate reality where, if you think about it, they try to sell a CD add-on with Donkey Kong Country as like the showpiece game. But Rare was like, you don't need the CD add-on. Like, we can just do this.
Yeah, because when you really think about it, like looking at like the Sega CD, like the library, the only real games, not counting the FMV games, that really made use of the discs like size were like the RPGs.
Yeah,
and those are few and far between.
And a lot of the like enhanced ports, like a lot of games that were Genesis games, like Echo, Eternal Champions, Earthworm Jim, like these games that were Genesis games, but then would use the CD add-on for like, better. CD quality audio, and they would add extra content, and a lot of times they would be the better version of that game
because the Sega CD could do Mode 7 or Sega version of Mode 7.
Yeah, Mode 8. I don't know, but
that weird 3D scaling shit.
Yeah, but like you would get the better version of that game a lot of times on Sega CD, but you weren't really missing anything out by not having it. If you had the Genesis version, you were fine.
Yes,
it was really like games like, say, Sonic CD. Or the RPGs like Lunar and Shining Force CD that were like, oh no, this is like really trying to make use of this technology and do something neat with it. And I've said before, I think the Sega CD is kind of an underrated thing.
It is, and it's not as much of a failure as people make it out to be, because it did sell like 2 million, which isn't bad for an add-on.
But I think they had higher expectations of it.
Well, yeah, it was supposed to change the world, which it definitely did.
Yeah, and it just so. Was what it was, but I don't think Philips had that idea with the CDI.
No, and I guess going back to the biggest like thing that Nintendo did not anticipate with this deal was in the process of the deal, they basically told Philips that for making this, we'll let you use some of our characters for your whatever you have over there, and that's how these games came to be, basically.
Yeah, so we have the 3 Zelda games, as everybody knows: Wand of Gamelon, Faces of Evil, and Zelda's Adventure, the Unholy Triforce, and then Hotel Mario. But this wasn't the only Mario game planned for the CDI. There's famously Super Mario's Wacky Worlds, which was going to be a follow-up to this game and Super Mario World.
And you can play that, the prototype of it online, and
it's a very rough prototype.
It is. I did play actually a bit of it after I played Hotel Mario a bit, and it's unfinished.
Yeah, it's a game I would have been really curious to see, like them make like a traditional 2D Mario platformer, how that would have worked out, And then apparently there was another game they were thinking of called Mario Takes America, as well. But but I don't think that left like pre-production at best,
No, there's no info on that at all.
Yeah, because I think by that point it was just a case of they'd realized this wasn't working and they were just kind of abandoning the CDI after that, because Hotel Mario didn't.
I was gonna say it wasn't even just like these games, like the CDI hardware was kind of a flop in general.
Yeah, because you can tell it just wasn't really made to be a video game console. It just kind of became one because of the connection Philips gained from trying to work with Nintendo, and then Nintendo saying like, this isn't going to work out, but you can make like a Mario game if you want. Sure, why not? They were kind of lax on it, but it's not like this is the only Mario game Nintendo hasn't like made and let people do. There's been like a couple of like PC things, like Mario Teaches Typing and all that stuff. So they've licensed the character out before, but some people have made the argument that this game is one of the reasons why Nintendo is so strict with things these days, because they're like, we let it out of our hands and look what happened. They made a perfectly mid game. We can't allow that.
Yeah. At least for Mario.
I mean, we can get into like the deep stuff later, but like, I didn't think this game was terrible.
No, the game itself is fine. Like it's people I've seen. You look back at old reviews from like back in the day before people knew what this game was,
like
and
AVGM.
Well, I mean, I love James Rolfe, but he does exerate the fuck out of a lot of his old reviews.
Well, and he barely played it. He only played
the first
levels in the first. He played a couple of the first stages, and that was it. Didn't bother.
Yeah.
He put his effort into the Zelda games. I think he's just more of a Zelda guy in general than a Mario guy.
Yeah, and the first episode of the CDI trilogy was more just talking about the system anyways.
Yeah, and then just kind of an afterthought on Hotel Mario. But like, yeah, as we'd said, this game was developed by Fantasy Factory. This is their only game. And they just had this idea for like a game in a hotel. And they just kind of fused it with like, I guess Mario will work. And apparently they talked about how they would design the game to like test, because they had like their testers were older people. And they made sure it worked well for them, but they're like, because kids have faster reflexes, we'll speed the game up after the fact. Not like, test it with younger audiences to see if they like it sped up. They just did that, which I think was like a pretty bad idea. And because the game is hard. Like way more fucking hard than it needs to be.
It tries to be a Mario game, but it does not follow Mario conventions very well.
No. And it immediately comes down to when you turn on the game and you see the first of the infamous cutscenes in this game. These cutscenes have been, of course, immortalized through so many memes, the foundation of YouTube poop, all that stuff. And they've earned their place.
Lots of spaghetti.
Yeah. and they earned their place because seeing these in like context with everything is like, wow. Holy
What's
crap.
funny is
I don't think they're as amazing as the Zelda ones. I think the Zelda ones are more nuts.
The Zelda ones are funnier just because of the whole story of how they were made, where they like flew in Russian animators because
you killed me.
Good. Good.
But there isn't a lot of those because the cutscenes are very short. Like you get little ones in between each set of levels. And then if you find the secret in certain levels, you get an extra cutscene. And that's really about it.
They're more
they just kind of come and go.
The animation is
horrendous.
I don't know if it's the same animators who did the Zelda games. I doubt it. Probably just similar style. They're mostly known for they were outsourced to Okotillo Pictures, animated by Terry O'Brien, Kathleen Swain, and Benita Versh. Good for them, I guess.
If only they got royalties for all this stuff, man.
Do they want the royalties?
I mean, if it pays for your house.
I guess. When did this game come out? 94. Apparently, so Mario 3?
Okotillo Pictures. I pull it up and I'm seeing a website. I don't know if it's the same one, but they talk about like 3D animation. It might be the same company. I don't know. That would be crazy. I'm like, they're still in fucking business? Really?
So the game came out in 94. By this point, like I think Mario World was like the newest Mario game.
Yes.
So their ideas for that's what I actually find.
Oh my God, it's the same one. Okotillo Pictures credits. I'm scrolling through. They've done a lot of stuff in the middle of it. Hotel Mario CDI game.
They actually keep. Wow.
They
good
still
for them
exist.
Good for them for actually.
Yeah, they're still around. That's crazy.
Because so many companies will pretend their masterpieces don't exist because they're ashamed of them. Looking at you, Sony Bend.
But also in the same credits, they have like, we did animation backgrounds for Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I'm sure they didn't have a ton of budget for these.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that's crazy. The company that did these cutscenes is still around.
Who voices Mario? I need to know who that man is.
The name is in the. If you look at the Wikipedia article, it's in there.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'll have to look that in.
Yeah, they don't have Zelda on their credits, so they didn't do those.
Yeah, the Zelda cutscenes are like a bizarre amalgamation of different people.
Bizarre is the way to put it.
Yeah. These ones are just really cheesy and led to some amazing YouTube boops, and a lot of people, a lot of children back then being like, where are these from? Like, what is this?
Oh, here's a fun fact I learned. The company that did the Hotel Mario stuff also did they call it gameplay assets for Clay Fighter 2.
Good for them.
Good for them. Learning so much today, aren't we, kids? Yeah.
I guess the best way to describe the game is it's essentially kind of a throwback to like classic old school arcade Mario, like Mario Brothers, where it's basically an arcade game, and the whole goal is you have a number of levels with a bunch of enemies on screen, and essentially what the goal is you're supposed to shut every door on the stage to move on to the next one, and you go up and down elevators. There's an occasional power up that'll come up, like the Fire Flower does technically exist in this game.
The way you get the power ups is if a door is closed in the stage, if you go and open it, stuff might come out.
Yeah.
Because you can get the star as well.
Yes, the star.
But what I hate about the star is it changes, like you get the little sparkly thing, but the music doesn't change and there's no like sound effects. So there were so many times I would die because I thought I still had the invincibility and I didn't. You know, you really needed a do. But Koji Kondo was a good fucking name on this thing.
No. I love the music too because it's
not bad. I don't hate it.
It's catchy for what it is, but it's also like they're like so close, but like just far enough away to not be infringing on anything, and it's kind of funny to me.
Like the music in the third hotel, it's like the ice cave. I was like, what is this like 90s funk? I was like grooving and schmooving. Like it was like crazy. It was good.
Yeah, it's like how the Zelda games, like the soundtracks are like the best parts of them for no reason.
Yeah, it's crazy. But apparently, initially this game was not going to have jumping. It was only no. Again, this is a Wikipedia thing, but it's according to Stephen Radish, who did work on this game. He said jumping was added after a suggestion from the daughter of one of the engineers who had played previous Mario games. Was like, why doesn't Mario jump?
Why doesn't jump?
So shout out to Holly Loff, if I'm saying that name right, for suggesting that Mario should actually jump in a fucking Mario game when they didn't think it was, because I don't know how you'd be able to play this game without jumping.
His name was Jumpman, for God's sakes.
Exactly.
But
I don't think people knew that at the time. Like no. Americans didn't know that at the time.
But that also leads me to believe the people making this game never played a Mario game in their lives.
It kind of sounds like, or the one Mario game they played was like Mario Brothers Arcade, because that's like the core influence for this is the arcade game.
Yeah.
Because it's a single screen with enemies showing up and you have to, travel the whole screen. But this one's like you close the doors and use the elevators and everything. It was them trying to put their spin on that. And like the core of it is like the core of it is, I don't think bad. I really don't.
No, it's actually not I could see this working as like a modern game if it was made better.
Or like a mini game. Like in a Mario game or something, where it's like, oh, close all the doors in time to get a bonus.
Like a Captain Toad. Actually, that would be like a genius Nintendo thing to do, as like a little mini game in like the next Mario game.
I don't think they'd ever want to reference this game though.
No, they wouldn't. But that would be such a cool, like just like a little nod, if you know kind of thing.
Yeah, it would be neat. But I think why the game doesn't really work is like for two reasons: one, the difficulty, and two, just like just the game design itself just doesn't really execute well. Like you have all these like little issues where it's like hitboxes aren't very good.
No, they're not.
The elevator stuff can be kind of weird. Like half the time power-ups show up in ways that you can't get them. Like, why is it that enemies on the floor above me, if I jump, can kill me, but I can't get to the second floor without taking an elevator? Like I would have killed if this game was closer to like say Donkey Kong or Mario versus Donkey Kong, where you could do like the backflip to the next floor.
Yeah.
Like something like that would be really nice to make this game flow a lot better. Because like the game's already hard enough. So if they gave you the option to do like say a backflip onto a level, it's like, yeah, you're circumventing an elevator, but there is risk that comes with that. I think that would be that would put like some more urgency into the player's hands. Because it feels like this game, you don't have a lot of urgency. You're just trying to like, at least when I was playing it, you're just trying to find the right like trying to line up the pieces to where it all kind of flows. You know what I mean? Because I would just do kind of the same thing every time to try to make it work. And when I would line it up, it would be fine.
It's kind of a case of like the game is like the concept itself is fine enough and fairly solid. It's the execution of it, like everything. It feels like there's like just too many steps for a lot of the actions. Like,
yes,
to use the elevators in particular, like they don't make sense. Like you'd think you hit up to go up and down to go down, but no, it's like always the same button. Like you have to like step out of doors to like move on, but you can like also hide in them.
Well, the consistency of the elevators I think is fine. Like, yeah, you push up to go into the door regardless. And then, yeah, when you reach the end of the elevator, you're hiding. That's a neat concept that I think the game doesn't really explore. That you can hide in the doors or hide in the elevators. Like so you can avoid things as they come through. So like if say you hit an elevator and then an enemy just happens to move in the middle of the door, you can just hide there and wait for them to leave so you can step out, and you push down to step out. Like I like that idea. I just wish like you could have done more with that, I think. And also just like the idea of just like, oh, you have to close all the doors, but sometimes they open again.
Yeah, because the enemies can just pop back out.
It's hard to make a game over 70 levels of that compelling. Because it's not. Because I wanted to beat this whole thing, but I got to like, I think the 5th hotel, and I was just like, I had enough because it's the same thing every time. And the game doesn't, it's lacking that Nintendo polish, right? Where like Nintendo making Hotel Mario, I think would have been a much more compelling thing because they really would have played with the idea and put in some really neat stuff in there. And I feel like this game is desperate for that Nintendo polish,
Yeah. Like I do kind of enjoy like the weird off-model nature of all the sprites. Like I actually find it kind of impressive how many sprites they have on screen at a time.
Oh yeah, like in the like their Mario model in the game, I think it's fine. Actually, I don't think it's a bad Mario at all.
Yeah, he's actually kind of charming compared to some others I've seen from the era.
I really feel like that. Well, it felt like by this time, by the Hotel Mario era, they were kind of like, okay, this is just what Mario is. Like,
yeah,
because they were still working on the design, and it felt like by this time going into 64, they were like, okay, this is Mario. And they haven't really fucked with his design that much since then, because they got it figured out. But like the Goombas, your Wigglers, your Bob-ombs, your Ninjas, like they all look fairly solid, right? The Koopas look different.
I love how pissed they look at all times.
And it's a shame that like you kill them and that's it. Like their shell doesn't stay there, so you don't have to deal with like. Because I mean, honestly, that would have been kind of cool if like they pop into their shell and then you can use the shell to throw it at enemies, or maybe like the shell could be used as a way to like close a door or something like that. Like that again, that's something Nintendo probably would have toyed with. Like, could you use a shell to maybe like throw a door? Like say you have like a bottom floor where there's a gap that you can't get to, but there's a Koopa on the side you can go down to and you can throw the shell to teach the player like, oh, if I can throw a shell at a door and it'll close it. That kind of a thing.
Yeah. Like because I find the game's presentation interesting in a lot of ways because
that's a way to put it.
Another misconception about the CDI is that there is still a lot of people that claim it is like it was a next gen system, like it was more powerful than like the Super Nintendo and Genesis,
it's not even really a system, it's just a thing.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's actually incredibly dated for the time graphically. Like the system famously, like looking at the demo for Wacky Worlds, like you read into that and you find out like they had to like do like trickery to make that game even function as best as it did because the system really wasn't designed for like scrolling levels like that. Like it can't do parallax scrolling.
It was designed to look at like FMV clips of sailboats and like
flowers,
Sesame Street point and click stuff, or
random religious games,
or play Jeopardy. I actually like the CDI version of Jeopardy, but that's neither here nor there. Like, that's what it was designed for like, stuff like that. But
it wasn't meant to be a gaming system. That's why, like, when you look at the default controller for the damn system, you got
it's a TV remote with an analog stick.
Yeah, there's that one or the spoon. Everybody loves the spoon.
Oh, the spoon. Yeah. But then you just have like kind of like a standard controller that's them just being like Genesis controller. Sure.
Yeah, you had two options. You had Genesis controller and Super Nintendo controller.
Yeah, so
they were both ass.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But no, like when I was reading this game, they were talking about like art style. They were influenced by like Disney and like they said like Lord of the Rings. But I feel like, or like J.R.R. Tolkien. But I think they're specifically with the Tolkien talking about the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings from the 70s, because that kind of animation style, especially like the backgrounds, like especially in the tree stage, reminds me very much of Bakshi Rings. Like it just has that sort of look to it, which is kind of neat because with the presentation, like it not being a Nintendo game, it's allowed to have kind of a different vibe to it. And in some instances, I do like that because it's fresh and it's something, unique for the series. Like a lot of the design or a lot of the aesthetic choices they make in this game, Nintendo would never make in a million years.
No.
Nintendo
is very safe. And
well, at this time they weren't, because they were still establishing what would make Mario.
At this point, Nintendo had just put out the Mario Brothers movie. So
they put out World, and World was kind of like, for them, the pinnacle of the series in 2D, pretty much.
Yes.
Even though I disagree with that, but that's another conversation. So, they were moving on to 64. So this is kind of ends up being a weird afterthought. And what's crazy is like people who worked on this game tried to claim that like Nintendo, they said Nintendo was pleased with the finished product. That I believe.
Yeah.
That Nintendo probably looked at it and went, sure, why not? Get out the door. But they had said that there were rumors that Nintendo was considering porting Hotel Mario to the Super Nintendo.
I don't believe that.
That one, I wouldn't be surprised if, say, they were, like, say, in a meeting showcasing Hotel Mario, that maybe one of them threw out, like, oh, maybe you could port this to the Super Nintendo. And they probably just went, maybe. We'll think about it. It was probably just that. Like, just kind of an offhand comment.
I just think of that meme of, like, putting the hand on the shoulder, just being like, yeah.
Sure, buddy, yeah. But again, as we've said, like, Nintendo making a stab at this probably would have been a little bit more interesting, because unfortunately what we have here, it's fine, but again, it just doesn't work. And it's not like everyone talked about, like, oh, this is like a shit game, one of the worst video games ever made. Like, not even close. Like, I've played so much worse shit than this. It is mind-boggling, right? Like, this game is mid, but like the problem is that it's just really hard. It's like enemy placements are ridiculous. The fact that, like, again, like your hitbox is ridiculously big, and some of the things the game asks you to do are just like, come on, guys. Like, this is like unfair even by 1994 standards.
Yeah, this game is more interesting in the fact that, like, it functions the way it does. Like, because considering the fact that apparently they were going to not have jumping, leads me to believe they'd never made a game like this before in their lives, and they were literally making this from the seat of their pants. And I think, honestly, thinking about it, Nintendo probably saw this, went, oh, it's not 100% shit. Good enough. Fine.
Yeah, they were probably focusing on other things at the time.
They probably checked it just to be like, make sure it wasn't like abysmally bad, and they were probably just like, oh yeah, that's fine.
So do you think Phillips showed them just the gameplay and didn't show them the cutscenes? Because I can't imagine Nintendo approving those cutscenes. I can't imagine Nintendo looking at the scene where Mario goes into the room, like it's the second stage where you have all the electricity problems, right? Yeah, the second hotel, and then you go in. I think it's the 4th level, where if you go into a random closed door, you can get rid of it by going in. And Mario's like, "Well, now there's your problem." You know,
too many toasters.
Yeah, and he sounds all Italian like this. You know, again, this was pre. Well, I think Martinet was there at that point as Mario.
I think Fundamentals was out.
Yeah, but he hadn't. But again, it hadn't set the stage. Like 64 canonized it.
Yeah.
So they're still in the spot. And I mean, Martinet has talked about how when he was doing 64, everybody was doing the gruff Italian voice, whatever. And he was like, well, I need to do something different. And that was the Yahoo, it's me, Mario, you know, and that's what stuck, right? So it was kind of like, so it doesn't surprise me that Mark Grew is his name, who did both Mario Brothers and Bowser, would go with the gruff Italian voice. But anyways, like he goes in and he's like, yeah, too many toasters. Like I always say, toasters, toast. And
it was really nice of the princess to invite us for a picnic, eh, Luigi?
I hope she made lots of spaghetti. I can't imagine Nintendo seeing that shit and thinking like, yeah, why? Yeah, cool.
Just that the Bowser laughing clip of like Bowser going like,
that's I can't imagine Nintendo giving that the green light. I can't. Unless they didn't give a shit or Phillips didn't show them that and they just showed them the gameplay. And they're like, gameplay? Yeah, it's fine. Not bad at all.
See, when I think about it, like, because Mario at that time, like the most of them, they did the gruff Italian, like Brooklyn style, like accent. And then, because at the time, like the most memorable Mario people were probably Bob Hoskins in the movie. And then
Captain Lou Albano in the Super Show.
Yeah. Captain Lou is still my favorite from that era. There was also the guy that did like the Mario 3 and World Seasons, which was like a different guy, but most people think Captain Lou.
Mm-hmm. Go to hell before you die.
Yeah, yeah. I always think of him in the. I always think of him in the Girls Just Want to Have Fun music video because he's so out of place there. And it's great.
If you've never looked up like him cutting promos back in like the 70s when he was like a manager and he had like a safety pin in his cheek with rubber bands out of it, you know, in the open Hawaiian shirt, and he's just like yelling and everything. Like, he's so good. Oh, he's like he can cut a promo like nobody else, man. Like if you guys like Bill or anybody listening, if you haven't looked at Captain Lou cutting promos, go to YouTube, look it up. They are fire, hot fire, guaranteed.
Like I love like the ending of like the Super Show where he's like doing his like swing your arms from side to side,
do
Mario, and I love it because he almost falls on his ass at the end.
Yeah, classic.
Different time.
Yeah, but like no way Nintendo approved that shit, right?
No, so they probably were like
they saw the gameplay and they're like, gameplay, you know, again, there's something there with the idea. There is something there, but making 75 levels of it is just too much, guys. Like you're getting your money's worth, which I'll give it credit for that. You know, like if you had this game at the time, you know, you were gonna get some gameplay out of it. And one thing I give the game credit for, it has a live system, but if you run out and you continue, you just start at the same stage.
That was nice. Like that's how I got so far.
And it's unlimited continues. The only thing that changes is you don't keep your score. You know, so fucking who cares, right?
The horror.
So, yeah. So the game is set up in a way where that helps, you know.
Also,
because again, like I could not get over how hard this game was. Like our buddy Dre, he was on, I think it was Flashback 64, talking about Mario 3. And he said, what makes Mario 3 such a great game, despite some of the more challenging bits people complain about, is that it's a game that wants you to win. That Nintendo gives you all the tools you need to beat Mario 3. It's just up to you to do it. You know, they want you to win. And I think a lot of great, difficult games have that mentality where they want you to win and they give you everything to win. You just got to do it. This game doesn't feel like it wants you to win. And it's like a sign of like a bad hard game where they're just like trying to pull a trick on you, or the developers are like, you can't beat my game. Get fucked, nerd. You know, that's what it feels like.
This game feels like it was designed for a legit arcade machine where it was supposed to steal quarters from children.
Oh my God. Yeah. This game would, steal quarters. Like it'd be ridiculous. But I can't imagine Nintendo allowing this to exist as an arcade machine.
No.
I can't imagine.
They begrudgingly allowed it to exist because of the bad deal they signed.
Exactly. So it's just I can't get over some of that stuff, and yeah, some of and some of the things that like in order to make the game easier, you just kind of stumble upon because manuals aren't a thing anymore. I mean, the manual's online if you want to read it, but
I've seen 2 copies of Hotel Mario like in person, and I've always been tempted to grab it, but I don't have a CDI, so I'm like,
yeah, me either. We both emulated this, and I just this is the time I've been wanting to get us off my chest.
Before that though, actually, I did want to bring just one thing up about the game.
Please.
This game has multiplayer.
Oh, it does have the 2-player mode.
It does, and I want to bring that up just because no review talks about it. Like, it is a thing that exists in this game that nobody brings up ever.
So you play as Luigi?
Yes, and I've never seen the Luigi sprite. I had to look it up, and I was like, oh, he is in this game.
What does his sprite look like? I have no idea.
I'm gonna bring up an image of it again because I did look it up because I was like, this game has multiplayer, and I was like,
because the crazy thing is, I never thought about that. I'm like, oh yeah, because it does have the 2-player mode.
Typing in Hotel Mario Luigi does not bring you what you expect.
We don't need to get into that. Yeah, it's easier to find. It's all
just cutscenes.
Yeah, it's easier to find sprites of fucking Paper Mario.
Oh, he's just got green. He's Green Mario.
Oh, they didn't make him. I was hoping they'd make him lanky, but
Well, then we would have had Ouija. We don't need that.
Well, to be fair, I think it's what 3D All Stars version of Mario World. That Luigi is redesigned.
Yes, it's actually bizarre how that sprite is like unique to that game and that game alone.
No, they had to do something, right? But yeah, so yeah, okay. I need to get this off my chest because we both had to emulate this game because CDIs are stupidly expensive now because of fuckheads. CDI emulation is garbage. It is hot, stinky garbage that smells bad from 10 miles away. So there's a CDI core in RetroArch. I could barely get the thing to work. Yeah. And I have no idea how I did because I can't get it to work anymore. I don't know what I did. Right. And this is with the BIOS files, by the way. Right.
Yes.
Because every CD console needs them. There's some other like standalone CDI emulators. For some reason, there's one that exists to just play Rise of the Robots. Literally.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
okay. of all the games to pick, you pick Rise of the fucking Robots. Anyway, apparently it runs it fantastically well. So good job. That had to be a prank. Anyway.
You're the biggest Rise of the Robots fan out there.
The one that exists. But there's like the CDI emulator or whatever, right? And you go to this very old ass looking website, like Windows 95.
I was so hesitant to download it. I was like,
I don't give a shit. Fuck it. I never care. So, and the dude is still updating the emulator. God bless him. He's still working on it. But you would think after all this time, he would learn to make a more competent emulator because it's kind of hot garbage. Like, I hate using the thing. It has way too many pop-ups. I can't change controller settings. And Hotel Mario would just crash. Like, it was glitchy. It didn't work well. Like sound effects and was delayed and everything. And I would get 3-4 stages in and it would just crash on me.
Yeah.
Every time I tried different versions of it. I tried different files I found online. I did everything I could. Couldn't figure it out. But Thrak, you're saying to yourself, you said you got to halfway through the game. How'd you do that? Well, boyo, let me tell you. So there's this famous emulator out there. I think everybody knows it, called MAME, the Multi-Arcade Machine Emulator. That's what it stands for. It's been around for a long time. Since mid-late 90s, I think. It was one of the first ones.
It's one of the OG emulators that's still active to this day.
It gets an update every month. And apparently, you can emulate CDI games in it. Why? I don't fucking know. Why not? So I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot because if MAME can't get these games to run, we're doomed. So I got it working in MAME. So that's how I was able to do it. But this might be sacrilege to some people. I fucking hate MAME. I think MAME, for as great of an emulator as it is, right? Using the thing is fucking dog shit nightmare.
It is clearly user friendly at all.
It is clearly made for like 90s hobbyists who know how to code, like who are able to do all this funky shit. Because I looked up, I think I used like 3 different YouTube video tutorials from various years trying to figure out how to get this thing to work. And they're like, put the thing in here, name it this specific file, go into command, type this stuff, then go to here, extract the bin to a CHD, do all this fucking shit. It took me like an hour to just get this fucking thing to run. Granted, once I did, I got it to run, but then it was another 15 minutes of like, how do I give this thing controller settings? And the nightmare of setting those up, awful, but I got it, right? I got it in a playable, working fashion. I was able to like save state, pause, everything, right? Like once you get MAME working, flawless. Like seriously, it ran fucking perfectly. It was beautiful. I was impressed at how well it ran, and which gave me 2 questions. One, why is it only available here? Like, why can nobody else figure out CDI this well? Like, why is it just this one MAME, whoever does it in MAME, but like that guy who does the CDI emulator, the solo one, can't fucking figure it out? Like, blows my mind, right? And then number 2, why is MAME's UI such dog shit? I fucking despise it. And some people are going to get mad that I'm saying this, but like it needs to be said. Like MAME, you're being outclassed as far as usability goes by RetroArch.
Yeah.
Like RetroArch has its problems. It ain't perfect. But like I turn that thing on, I know what I'm doing. Like it's pretty easy to figure out. MAME, no. Oh my God.
MAME is like, it's like one of those hobbyist things that once you get it perfectly running, it's probably the best emulator out there.
Yes.
The problem is getting it to, it's not beginner friendly. You need like a fucking encyclopedia to get it to work. And then you're still going to struggle.
And if somebody tries to say, well, there are MAME cores in RetroArch. Yes, there are. However, I have had issues getting those to fucking run too, where it's like, I'll have like a stack this big of different MAME cores, and I'm trying to play like an arcade game, and I'm doing what the internet tells me to do, and I go through each one, and none of them want to fucking play it. And I'm like, why don't you want to play this game? I don't get it. Like I get it. Arcade machines are funky beasts. I get why emulating them can be more difficult compared to, say, an NES game, right? Like I get that. But please, for the love of God. Like MAME is the Linux of emulators, right? Like it has its core dedicated following. It's probably better than the mainstream like alternatives. That's probably fair. But like I hate using it, and I don't want to ever fucking use it because it just makes me mad. Like I'm a little techie, but I'm not a tech guy in that sense. Like, I just want to be able to get the thing working, right? Like, I know enough tech to get games to work on my computer, right? Like, that's the extent for me. So, it was just, I just didn't like fucking with MAME. Like, I just didn't enjoy it whatsoever, So, and to be fair, I did say this to some people, and they did agree with me. So, I can't be the only guy who thinks this. Like, just please, MAME. Like, give me a window. Can I have a windowed option, please? Why do you have to full screen it? And then, like, I can't move my mouse to my other screen. I'm locked into it. Like, again, like it's an app from 1997.
It's literally like the fact that there are so many goddamn tutorials on just how to do anything involving it. Not even just CDI, just the emulator itself. I'm like, that's never a good sign.
Yeah, and people treat it like it's like it because it's been this way forever that it's fine. It's the old thing of like, oh, it's like the traditionalist behavior. Like, oh, we've just been doing it like this forever. It's fine. Right? When I'm like, it could be better, guys. It could be better. you know? And I just say this as somebody who, again, like, I'm not trying to throw shade at MAME. I'm just trying to give it like some hard love, because I think it needs a little bit of like, guys, come on, can we clean this up? But again, thinking about it, if they did, would like the diehards be mad? Probably, because they're fucking weird, right?
They're the people that dedicated their life to understanding it, and they kind of like have it as like a badge of honor that they can just do it effortlessly, and they probably just get mad if they made it. They'd be like, "You're letting the normies in," and I'm like,
but it's just annoying when it's like, I've tried to play like arcade games in it, and I'm like, why can't I find the fucking file? I set the directory how it wanted me to, and it's not finding the game. Why? You know, I've had those issues too. But yeah, that was my little fucking CDI emulation rant. It sucks. It awful, just terrible. But of course, this game and the console is super expensive, so it's not an option. So
you know, if
you want to learn how to run this game on MAME, shoot me a DM. I'll try my best to help you out.
You know what's crazy about like CDIs being so expensive now too? There was thousands of these things. Like there's so many different variations floating around there. It amazes me that they've become so scarce over the years.
I think it's because they break down.
A lot of them do break. I know that's
and the only people who really want these are fucking weirdos. So
collectors at this point, like it's despite
like, that's what I said.
Yeah, despite not being a gaming system, really, the only people that give a crap about this thing are gamers at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So, and plus there was like, I think it was like when Magnavox put out a CDI, like it was designed to be just a game console. Like,
yeah, the weird like pop top one that like you see. That's like the most common one you'll see out and about, because it's
it looks like AI generated video game console.
Yeah, pretty much. It's definitely, the CDI is not a looker. We'll say that.
No, but it's okay. It wasn't really designed to be a looker, you know?
No, it really wasn't. To be fair, I don't even think Philips knew what they were designing, to be honest.
No, I think they were just trying to jump on the CD-ROM bandwagon and have something there for CD-ROM technology. But I think they didn't expect it to be such a video game like type thing with CD-ROMs, because I mean, that was like, I think like video CDs were a thing at the time, and people just thought this was gonna like take over VHS and you know, be like, you know, oh, we'll watch movies on CDs, which would happen a little later, but
yeah,
you know, but that'll be under a different name. So like it was a case of, I think they were just trying to be there for that wave, but they were just there too early when people didn't really know what CDs were going to be one way or the other, you know?
Yes. So looking at reception for Hotel Mario real quick, contemporary.
Not terrible at all.
Yeah, that CDI gave it a 90%.
I mean, you look at that library and it's like, you know, it kind of is comparatively.
That's actually kind of funny. So EGM apparently has like 5 different reviews, but one of them gave it an 8 out of 10. That's interesting. Honestly, the harshest review I'm seeing is GamePro, who gave it a 2.5 out of 5.
That's about where I'd put it.
I do like how one review says Mario sounds like someone's ex-smoker grandpa trying to imitate a mafia hitman. What a way of putting that.
I found the CDI review. Thank you, Internet Archive. I'll just read the final paragraph. In conclusion, then, this is a game whose scenario and graphics promise very little. After all, it is just another platformer, but which delivers more gameplay and fun than a truckload of so-called state-of-the-art interactive movies ever can. You know, I'm going to be honest, a handful of those interactive movies I would rather play than Hotel Mario.
Honestly, yeah. So interestingly, famously, this game gets overhated nowadays by people who have never played it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to assume, I guess, because
Yeah.
if you just see like the cutscenes that are like really rough, and then you hear about what this game is, and you're like, what the fuck? Like just being like Mario fans probably have just really high expectations. I can't blame them for that. It's one of the most consistently quality franchises of all time, video games or whatever. So seeing a game like this, which doesn't really meet those requirements kind of really at all, makes it appear like it's shit. But really, if we're thinking about it, like compare this game to, say, as I said off camera, like Mario Clash on Virtual Boy, which is around the same time. Like, is this game better or worse than that?
Hmm.
You know?
So what I found really funny is Game Radar in 2017 did a top 50 worst games of all time list. And this game was put at number 48, which I'm kind of like,
this game doesn't even crack the top 50.
No, it really doesn't. I actually did want to boot up this list real quick just to see the games that.
Oh, I have it real quick. So the game below Hotel Mario is called Hooters Road Trip.
Oh, fuck yeah, I have that game. it's not good, but it's also
and then the game above it is Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Again, a game I don't think cracks the top 50, but I at least understand it more. You know what I mean?
Plumbers Don't Wear Ties isn't even a game. Like
it's a thing. But here's what they say about Hotel Mario, Games Radar. The Philips CDI is infamous for its horrible Zelda ports, which we will cover later. Yes, those deserve to be there. But not many people remember that Mario got his own terrible CDI game as well. Hotel Mario at its core is a platformer like other Mario games, but the comparisons end there. Awful cutscenes, a nonsensical story. I mean, the story's the same as any other Mario game. You're rescuing Peach from Bowser. But, like, story in a Mario game? Get fucked, nerd. And some of the dumbest quotes ever pulled from video games. As they say, a toaster, toast, toast. That's incredible. Have some humor, guys. God.
Yeah, an entire generation's sense of humor was forged by this game.
Honestly, really, yeah. But those make this a hotel we wanted to check out of as soon as possible. We just need to read the instruction manual to figure out how. I do like when Mario's like, read the instruction manual or hint, hint. Like those bits I thought actually were kind of cute. But nowhere there do they talk about the game itself.
Yeah, they just talk about the buzzwords that like every reviewer brings up.
Exactly. So get fucked, Games Radar. Okay, like
reading this list,
like
is really
Sonic
funny.
06 is 43.
Yeah,
it deserves to be there though. It does, Bill. It does.
I'm seeing what's above it, and actually, I think it's actually well placed on this list. To be honest,
Ride to Hell is number 10.
That's fair.
That's a perfect spot for that game.
Street Fighter, the movie, the game isn't that bad. That doesn't
it depends.
Belong on
the
this
arcade
list.
Version's pretty bad.
Oh, let me see which version is it.
The console version's better, but the arcade version's pretty bad.
Well, the console version is just a Mortal Kombat version of.
Yeah, that one was made by Capcom, so it's fine. But
Dragon Ball Evolution, that's like better than the movie because it's just Budokai.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm curious to what they listed as number 1. Big Rigs.
That's not a game. It's a waste of time.
I mean, it was meant to be a game. I get it though.
Oh, the guy game should be number 1, and that's 16.
They put ET at 2. Like ET is not even like
that's just.
If I were to do a ranking of Atari 2600 games, I don't think ET would crack like the bottom half. Like on my hot take, I think ET is actually one of the better games for the Atari 2600. Honestly, if you look at that library as a whole, right?
Wait, Club Drive at number 3. That game is not that bad.
It's not good though.
It's not good, but it's not number 3.
No.
Play that over half the things on this list.
Like Superman 64 at number 4, I think I would argue it's too low. I think it should be a little higher.
Honestly, yeah. You know what's funny?
No, they have number 5 is Custer's Revenge. That should be number 1.
Yeah, that's up there.
That game is disgusting.
That game, like that, and then the guy game should be like the first number 1 and 2.
So, but yeah, we don't need to keep shitting on Games Radar.
I just got distracted by this list because anytime I see like a company that does one of these lists, I always can tell them like this is going to be half legit and then half just like funny buzzwords because
yeah. So, but yeah, like ET again, I would argue ET is one of the better games for the 2600. Like it's trying to be something.
Like even James Rolfe in the movie, when he finally reviews it, like flat out basically explains it. He's like, yeah, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, it's fine. It like there are so many worse games on the Atari 2600. So many that are like terrible.
Like not even games. Like that's actually a kind of well-constructed game, all things considered.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just because of the history and what it like did to the industry, I guess. Fair enough. Fair enough. But anyways.
Looking at under legacy, this is a little interesting. In the mid to late 2000s, Hotel Mario's cutscenes gained notoriety as internet memes and endured one of the most common sources of YouTube poop video mashups.
Yep.
Mark Grau reprised his role as Mario and Luigi in a parody dub in 2012. That's kind of cool. There's no source for that though.
But there's a link to the video.
Oh, okay, that works then. And interestingly, I did see a bit of this, but I'm not sure if this will ever see the light of day. In 2024, a fan remake of the game with several quality of life enhancements titled Hotel Mario Rebooked was announced. And I've seen images of it, but my question is, would Nintendo see and do this?
They haven't, as far as we know, because like it's had like multiple trailers. Because when it first came out in 24, they said, oh, it's coming out in 25. And then they did a second one saying, it'll come out when it's ready. Right? And so, yeah, it's been like 2 years and we haven't gotten any major updates. I feel like if Nintendo C&D'd this, we would know. They would have like the people, whoever's making this would have said Nintendo C&D'd me, so I have to cancel it. Right. But he hasn't, they haven't. We don't know. Maybe again, it could just be a case of whoever's making this, like they have like a life and this is just like a little hobby project on the side while they're, taking care of their wife and 2 kids and, being a normal functioning adult who really likes Hotel Mario for some reason.
See, I just find it amusing. Like the CDI Nintendo games to me are one of those, interesting things where I'm like, where do the rights to these games lie? Like it's kind of like just a thing where you got to think about it, you're like,
because they were published by Philips.
Yeah.
So like Philips published these, but they are licensed by Nintendo. I honestly, thinking about it right now, the best comparison I could probably make is to Bayonetta. Hear me out. Because Bayonetta is a Sega IP. Sega owns the Bayonetta IP because they published the first game.
Yep.
And they have published the first game on everything but Nintendo platforms. So for Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 3, Nintendo licensed the IP from Sega to publish it on their platforms specifically. So it's a case of like Nintendo has rights over 2 and 3 and even like Origins, but at the end of the day, they're licensing that from Sega. So I think Sega has the final say. I think that's how that would work. And I think with Hotel Mario, it's the same thing. We're like, yes, Philips probably still has rights to Hotel Mario, but at the end of the day, Nintendo gets the final say.
I wonder if it's like kind of a case of Nintendo probably sees this, but it would require them to acknowledge Hotel Mario exists. And they probably are kind of like, they're hesitant to do that.
I mean, they've acknowledged the Mario porn, so.
Well, they bought that. They own the rights to it.
I mean, that's more than acknowledging it.
Yeah. See, well, I don't think
that was probably like damage control or what they was damage control.
That was straight up.
Hotel Mario isn't damage control. Like, I mean, they know this game didn't ruin Mario's reputation. Like, not at all. Not even remotely. No. I would argue like other Mario games they've made have hurt the reputation more than this game.
The movie probably did more than this game ever did.
Yeah. And there are, some mainline Mario games I'm not the biggest fan of, but it is what it is.
Yeah. It's honestly just a weird, fascinating game that that exists and isn't as bad as people make it out to be, but it is also not a good game.
Yeah. Like, most people who shit on this game didn't play it.
Oh yeah, most people they saw AVGN's review. They saw the Screw Attack top 10, which also, by the way, Mario 2 Doki Doki is on their top 5 worst Mario games. But listen.
Yeah, like that's a good game. Like that's but that was an era where people thought the Japanese Mario 2 was better because it was more real compared to the American Mario 2.
They thought it was better because most people hadn't played it, and then they played it.
Yeah, and they're like, well, this one was made by Miyamoto, so it should be good. Again, it's that thing video game people do where, like, if it comes from Japan, it has this mythical status to it that, like, makes it better than Western products, when it's like, that's not true. And I think Mario 2 is a perfect example, because the Japanese Mario 2 fucking sucks. American Mario 2, fantastic.
Because Japanese Mario 2, like the Lost Levels, that's literally the first ROM hack. That is literally what that game is.
And that is the hardest Mario game. Like, even playing Hotel Mario, which is super hard, I'm like, it's not as hard as Lost Levels. Like, that game is unfair.
Well, Lost Levels was designed just to be bullshit hard.
Yeah,
like, it was legit meant to be.
And that's why I don't like it, because I'm like, this goes against, like, Mario's, like, ethos, really. And, like, again, neat ideas in there, but I think if they were being more conscious about those ideas they would have done it in a way that was, like, more appealing to, or it would just be easier and more fun to play, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Mario 2 reminds me of, like, Kaizo Mario World, or like Super Mario Bros. Frustration, if you want to bring up another classic internet meme.
Oh yeah. I love that video. You're breaking my balls, Mario. God, I love that video. I've seen that video so many times.
Anytime I see that pop up in my feed, I'm like, I gotta watch it again.
Oh yeah. When the algorithm recommends it to me, I'm like, yeah, let's have some fun.
Like, it's definitely an early 2000s video, because some of the language in there, I'm like, oh, you can't say that anymore.
But it's still fun. Like, it's not the worst.
No, it's just my favorite quote in that is where he goes, "It's like watching an episode of Family Guy." That was the early 2000s too.
That was like, people have been shitting on Family Guy since it existed.
Yeah, so, it hadn't become truly shit though at that point.
Yeah. It's fucking worse than Ann Coulter. I mean, she's the devil, but we're not getting into that.
Yeah, as a child, I did not understand any of those jokes, but
yeah, and watching it now, you're like, I get all those jokes now.
It's so much funnier. Like, that is an ancient internet meme that's up there with, like, the goddamn, like, Dragonite guy, like, just stupid internet shit.
I can't remember last time I watched Dragonite guy. I can't remember.
See, that was the internet humor we got, like, not this fucking skibbity 6-7 shit.
Like, I mean, to be fair, we view that stuff the way, like, if we were our age now, back then, would view that stuff.
Fair.
You know, it's just all cycles, man. That's all it is. No.
Very true.
But yeah, Hotel Mario. Must play, okay, stay away.
I mean, it's arguably the best game on the CDI.
Yeah, really.
Depending on who you ask.
Yeah. And I think, even regardless of the quality of the game, I just think for how infamous it is, it's a must play.
Yeah, it's honestly
like, I think people just need to play it to, like, see what it really is. You know what I mean?
I think it's a must play so people can have a proper opinion of it and not just echo everyone else. Everything else it said.
I agree with that sentiment. I will take that. Yeah, like must play, like, you need to play this. You need to know. You know? Like, don't trust what people say. Trust what we say, not those people, and just go play it for yourself. Because really, at the end of the day, the only way you're going to form a good opinion about a video game is if you just play it for yourself.
Yes. And so that was Hotel Mario. It's amazing it took us 136 episodes to get to this one.
I know. Like, I mean, we've been talking about a lot of other stuff, you know, like Creature Shock and Crime Patrol, you know, like, there was a lot of, if we'd started with the big stuff, you know, like, people would have petered out. We had to build up to the big stuff, you know, so.
It's amazing. We waited this long to even talk about the Nintendo and, like, Sony development stuff, and, like, one of the biggest stories behind the CDI. I mean, it's crazy.
Again, we were just kind of warming up the audience. We had to warm them up with Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
And when we talked about Flashback, remember when we talked about Flashback? Feels like forever ago.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey talking about a system that literally no one cares about aside from the game we just talked about today.
Well, there's a few others as well that people care about.
Well, we're saving those for a later date.
Yeah, but, for later. But they'll never top Mad Dog McCree.
No.
That
was a big one.
So good.
But yeah, so anyways, guys, once again, thanks for joining us on the CDI Experience. So you can find the CDI Experience on all the major podcasting platforms, the fun ones. You can also find us on the Superpod Network, superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site. Whole bunch of gaming podcasts, videos, blogs. They just actually started finally putting out those GVA blogs that we did. Thrax actually just came out recently.
Oh yes, on the cult classic from Game Freak called Drill Dozer. So go read that. That was quite a fun game to play. So it was interesting to think about it kind of in context to Game Freak's overall history. So
yeah,
go read it.
It's interesting how when they're not stuck with the minuscule budgets that Nintendo gives them to make Pokemon, they actually make some pretty decent games.
I mean, it has me excited for Beast of Reincarnation to see what that game's going to be all about. And that comes out in August. So I look forward to it. Yeah, thank you, Game Pass. So I don't have to pay any money for it.
Nice. And I have a review coming out as well. It should be whenever the boss man gets around to it.
I think he's getting back into the swing. So.
Yeah. No rush on that. When it comes out, I'm sure I'll post about it. But yeah. Anyways, other than that, though, once again, thank you for joining us, guys, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Maybe we should talk about the Flowers of Robert Mapplethorpe next.
Yeah.
Say you're watching TV and this guy says,
"It's CDI, friends, the next generation CD player that works with your TV."
And you say,
"But I have a CD player."
And your mom says,
"No, dear, CDI works with your television."
You'd probably feel pretty dumb and maybe even fake it like you'd already experienced the ultimate in games, movies, music, and more.
Trust me, babe, I know about this CDI stuff.
Now get into CDI starting at $2.99